beautiful people, and welcome. This is part 2 of volume of prisms and cylinders. In this video, we're going to be talking a little bit more about prisms and cylinders, but specifically we're going to introduce composite figures. So in the beginning, I have already pre-drawn a prism. My question to you is, what's the volume? What is the volume of this prism? So go ahead and pause this video, quickly work this out, and then come back to see if you have the answer correct, or perhaps maybe I'll make a mistake. But go ahead and pause this video and find the volume of this prism. All right, hopefully you've paused the video and then come back, but let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you need to do is identify what type of prism this is. Again, we are looking for the most complicated shape on this prism. I see a few shapes. I see a rectangle here. I see a rectangle here. I see a rectangle at the bottom. But then I see this triangle. And again, we already discussed how a triangle is a little bit more complicated than a rectangle. So I see two triangles. So I'm going to create those two triangles as my basis. So we have a triangular prism. Okay, what does that mean? That means my base is a triangle. So that means I'm going to need to find out the area of the triangle. So I'm going to draw out my triangle and use the given information to find out what the measurements are. I have 12 inches, I have 9 inches. I don't need this inch right here. So what is the area of the triangle? Well, the area of the triangle is half base times height, so half of 12 times 9. And then we'll find it out. Now, you have options. You can choose to find out the number here and then plug it in, or find out just what the formula is, what your numbers are, and then you can plug those numbers without. So you can only use the calculator once. Up to you if you want to use the calculator more than once. Okay, just like we discussed in the previous video, once you have identified what your base is, here's your base, here's your triangle, here's your secondary base right here. So imagine that you are taking this triangular prism and shifting it up here. So now your base that you've identified is on the bottom, like this. There you go. So then how tall is your prism? So again, here's your base one, here's your secondary base. You're lifting it up this way. How tall is it? So in this case, it is 4 inches tall. So volume is equal to the area of the base times the height of the prism. Volume is equal to the area of the base, so we discussed that. That is 1/2 times 12 times 9. And then we're saying height of the prism. Once we take our prism and shift it up, our height is 4 inches. Then we use our trusty calculator over here. And let's see here. All right. That is right. Let's see here. I was looking at my cheat sheet here and I'm like, that doesn't look right. Yes, it is. And remember, you must write your units of measure. So our units are inches and volume is always cubed. All right, hopefully you got this answer right. Let's move on to another question. This one here, again, I have pre-written out. Take a moment to pause this video. Try this on your own. It will take you a few moments to write this question down, but pause it. Try it on your own. This is a little bit more of an application problem, so it will take you a little bit longer, but that's okay. And then come back and join me for more work. All right, let's go ahead and get started. If 1 gallon of water is 0.134 feet cubed, what is the volume of the water? So here it is. What is the volume of the water? That's the first question. We want this in gallons. That's the second thing. In the tank below. So there's two parts. The first part is what's the volume? The second part is what is that volume in gallons? So let's take a look here. Let's find volume. Volume is equal to the area of the base times the height of the prism. So what is the base? What do we have here? We have here a rectangular prism. So that means our base is a rectangle. So In the part 1 video, I kind of did, let's see if I can quickly sketch it out, the bottom rectangle, but this time I'm going to use this rectangle here. I'm going to choose this rectangle as my base. Why? Just because. Whichever two you want to choose, that's fine. In a rectangular prism, all of them are rectangles, so don't worry about it. All right, here's my rectangle. I chose the skinny one. Here's 8 feet. Here's 60 feet here. So my area of the base is 60 times 8. My height of the prism, again, take the two bases, lift it up. So what's your height now? My height is 120. So my volume is 57,600 feet cubed. So are we done? We found the volume. Yay! So we're done with part 1, but it's actually asking us for the answer in gallons. What do we have the answer in? Feet. So let's go ahead and change that up. So we have our volume as 57,600 feet cubed. Oh, you can't see that. Let me zoom in. Oh, wrong way. There it is. And we want it in gallons. So what do we know about gallons? Well, in the question, I'm looking at it right here. In the question, it says that 1 gallon is 0.134 feet cubed. So we know that 1 gallon is 0.134 feet cubed. So if you are in chemistry, you're going to be doing conversions a lot. So we have 57,600 feet cubed. We're going to multiply that by our conversion rate. And our conversion rate is 1 gallon to 0.134 feet cubed. Now, whatever unit of measure you want on top, that is, whatever unit of measure you want to put that unit of measure on top. So we want our answer in gallons, so I'm going to put my gallons on top. And the reason for that is because we are multiplying. Feet cubed is actually being divided by feet cubed. So this is what we really have. We have 57,600 times 1 gallon, all divided by 0.134, again, feet cubed, and those got canceled out. So what do we have here? We have 429,851 gallons. Now, yes, we are working with volume, but this is not cubed. And the reason for that is because we already accounted for the volume being cubed. We have now, sorry about that. We have now converted to gallons. So even though gallons are not cubed, our original unit of measure was in fact cubed. All right, let's talk about composite figures. Now, composite figures are 2 or more figures that are combined. They are great and they're super duper fun. So now there's 2 types of composite figures. There's composite figures that are added, kind of like stacked. And then there's composite figures that are removed. And think of it as like cutouts. So let's do an example of our first composite figure. And again, we're trying to think of volume. Whenever you think of volume, think of like a water bottle that's filled up with water. You're filling something up with water or paint. Sometimes we use paint. So here are my 2 figures. I have let's identify what we have. The first one, what do we have? We have a cylinder. How do I know it's a cylinder? There is a circle on top and a circle on the bottom. Second one, what do we have? This right here is a 5, 5, and a 4. So it's not a cube, but it is a rectangular prism. Okay, so cylinder, we know the base is a circle. So we know that the area of the base of the circle is pi r squared. And then we're going to take the volume, area of the base of the circle times our height of the prism. So then we have, what do we have? Pi r, which is 2 squared, times the height of the prism. Now, we're not saying the height of the composite figure. We're just wanting the height of the prism. What prism are we dealing with? We're dealing with cylinders. So what is the height of the cylinder? It is 1 inch. So our volume is 4 pi. Now we're going to do exactly the same thing for our secondary prism. So what do we have? We have a rectangular prism. What does that mean? That means our base is a rectangle. Doesn't matter which rectangle you choose. I'm going to choose the bottom. So our base is 5 by 5. So I'm going to draw it a little bit better so it can represent 5 by 5. So our base of the rectangle is 5 times 5. So the volume, that is the area of the base, so the area of the rectangle, times the height of the prism, and the height of the prism here is 4. I don't have to like shift it because I chose this to be my base. And again, in a rectangular prism, the most complicated shape is a rectangle. So it doesn't matter which rectangle you choose. Just make sure you are accounting for the height of the prism. So we have 5 times 5 times 4. So what do we have? We have 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 4 is 100. Okay, so remember, oh, excuse me, I don't know if you heard my phone, I apologize. Okay, so remember how here we said there are 2 types of composite figures. The first figure is either added or it's removed. So did we add or did we remove? Well, it's clear to see that we literally have like a rectangular prism and we put a cylinder on top. So we didn't take away anything. So we added. And exactly how we just said we added the 2 figures, we're going to add the 2 volumes. So I'm going to say volume total is 4 pi plus 100. Now here's the thing with pi. This is literally saying, here's my thinking bubble. 4 pi is saying 4 times pi. This is multiplication, okay? This is saying 100 is just a number. So don't combine these 2 together. They need to remain separate. Now you can combine if it's multiplication. You can just use your calculator. But even if you type this into your calculator, it's probably going to give you a rounded answer. Don't combine, leave it as your final answer. So this right here, what is our units? Our units are inches. What are we working on? We're working on volume, so it's still cubed. If it is asking you to round your answer, then go ahead and use your calculator. And let's say we are rounding to 2 decimal places, and you can do so like that. This right here is 4 times 3.14, etc. Use your pi button instead of saying 2.14. It's going to give you a more accurate answer when you are rounding. If you don't use your pi button, it will not give you the most accurate answer and you will be getting it wrong. Okay, so this is just a number. You don't combine them, okay? Pi plus or minus a number, can't combine them. All right, let's do one more. Let's do one more. It doesn't look like I pre-drawn this one, so unfortunately, let's go ahead and attempt me to draw this real quick. And then this is going to be our last example for this video. So here we have a cube. All right, so this is a cube. Think of it as, oh, I don't know. Thinking maybe like a tissue box that's fallen down, tissue holder box, I don't know. But it's a cube with a cylinder that's been drilled out all the way. So my question is, again, what is the volume of the figure? And sometimes you'll see what is the volume of the composite figure, but we have two figures. We have our cube, and I know it's a cube because all of the sides are the same, and we have our cylinder. How do I know I have a cylinder? It's because I have a circle and I have a circle for bases. A cube, you can remember that it's side cubed, or you can say that length times width times height, or you can say the area of the base times the height, but I think the length times width times height is the easiest. So we have 5 times 5 times 5. Cylinder, we know the volume is area of the base, so area of the circle, times the height of the prism. So area is pi r squared times the height. So what is this height? Well, this right here is the same as this. So it's 5. What is our radius? Our radius is, ooh, I did not give you our radius. Let's say our radius is 2. So then what is our volume? This right here is 125 units cubed. This right here is 20 pi units cubed. So again, there's two types of composite figures. Are we adding or are we removing? And since this has been drilled out, then we're actually removing some of that volume that could have been filled. So we're going to remove. So I have 125 units cubed. I'm going to take away 20 pi units cubed from that. Okay, so how do I combine that? You literally kind of don't. You say 125 minus 20 pi. That quantity is now being your answer, and then you have your units, unit cubed. Again, if you want to round, and if not, if you want to, that's a bad choice of words. If the directions tell you to round to a specific decimal place, then do that. When you are rounding, make sure to use here's your thinking bubble. Make sure to use your pi button. Don't do 3.14. You're in integrated math 3. We know that pi is not in fact 3.13. That is a lie. So use your pi button, okay? All right, guys, that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you caught a mistake, please let me know where it is so I can learn from it. As always, thank you so much for watching my videos, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye, beautiful people.